everyone. Welcome to another episode of On the Flip Side. On the first Monday of every month, we talk about mindset. And every other Monday after that, it's all about real estate. My name is Diana Lizarazo, and today's guest speaker is Jacqueline Francis. Now, before we get started on this amazing conversation, I want to share with you two pieces of information that you're going to love. One is my social networking platform, Refam. It is a platform that's going to transform the way you work in real estate, transform the way communities work in real estate. It's an up and coming platform you definitely want to be involved in because there are so many benefits from it, and it's going to transform the way you work. So if you want to see what that's all about, it's free to join. It's called Real Estate Investor Fam, F-A-M, realestateinvestorfam.com. So I hope to see you guys there because it's something that you want to be involved in. And the second piece of information is that Elizabeth Kelly and myself have started on Fridays. We help you solve your challenges. So if you have a challenge in the real estate investing world and you're looking to mastermind, then share it on Refam and we'll be picking some stories out of there and we'll be helping you. So the more information you provide, the more we can help you to tailor the information for you. So if you have a problem that you're looking to solve, let us know, because this Friday that just passed, we had some really amazing conversations and some really good solutions. So share your thoughts and we will get that answered on Friday for you. Now back to the show. On the flip side, we talk about mindset. And in today's topic, we're going to be talking on how to leave others with the impression of increase. And even understanding why we want to do that. What are the benefits? What is even the purpose of it? So if you guys are ready to bring on Jacqueline, send her some thumbs up, some hearts, and let's welcome her on the stage.
Except like 20 times. And sometimes let's see what's going on here. Oh, there we go.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you today? Happy Monday.
Wait, hold on. Is my mic? Oh, I'm on mask. Oh, one second. Oh, can you guys hear? Were you able to hear me?
You're sounding a little choppy. Can you hear me okay?
Hold on, it's me. One second.
Can you hear me better now?
Oh, perfect. Yes, that's amazing.
It was on my headphones. I was like, why do I hear this noise, but I don't hear it coming out of my phone?
What a
Ha-
difference. Technology. I love it.
yeah. Yeah, now I feel bad. I don't know if I should restart again, actually, because it felt like who knows if people even heard me intro.
No, you were good until I jumped on because I was listening.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's just tell the viewers a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? What type of real estate investor? Anything you'd like to share with the community?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm Jacqueline Francis, and I am a self-image inner expansion coach. I work with your mind and help you overcome limiting beliefs so you can move forward into the success that you desire for your life. I'm also a real estate investor. This is how my whole journey got started. My husband and I have a company called Francis 5 Properties. You might know us as LJ Francis. We are in the multifamily space and we're moving into land development, which is really exciting. And we're looking to grow our portfolio and help others along the way. So join us on our journey. Follow us on IG and stay tuned to Diana's podcast and everything she has going on.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, awesome. It's so much fun to have you. So let's start with what is even the meaning of increasing people's, what's it? I forgot now the title.
Leaving people with the
Leaving with
impression of
of
increase.
increase, yes. Yeah, so
So,
what does that even mean?
yeah, so this is a term that there was a writer named Wallace Wattles, and he wrote a book called The Science of Getting Rich. If you guys have not heard of this book, I would highly recommend you get it and read it. It is an amazing book. And in one of the chapters, he talks about leaving people with the impression of increase. So what that is when you are in front of someone and when you are in the presence of somebody else, you want to allow them to feel their absolute best. You leave them feeling amazing to be in your presence. You leave them with an increased value in themselves because you've just shared something to them that they may have never heard before. And they're going to walk away with that energy knowing, wow, I just had the most amazing conversation with this person. They're going to remember you because you've left them with something that they can carry with them and then give to other people as well throughout their day.
I love that. And I think, and we were talking about this before, I think that's even a good coping mechanism if you're feeling fear, if you're feeling stress. I think it's also
Yeah.
a great way to actually help you by, because when you're giving, you're not thinking about yourself, you're thinking about how you can help others and how you can help them in whatever challenges or whatever they need, which what happens is it stops us from focusing on ourselves because that's usually when you're in fear or you're stressed, it's because you're in your mind just thinking about yourself, your problems. It's all about you. What are your
That's so
thoughts on that?
true. And I totally agree with you on that because fear comes from this lack, from a place of lack and worry. And the focus then becomes on ourself, right? So if and this is something that I've heard throughout, my career and throughout dealing with people that public speak and whatnot, when you are worried about what you're going to say, if you're going to go and talk to an audience, it's not about you. It's about the message that you have to deliver to the audience. And that is the most important thing. Because when we're fearful of, oh my gosh, what am I going to sound like? Is my message going to be clear? It becomes about us. So we lose what it is that we want to share with our audience because it's the knowledge that we have that we can leave people with the impression of increase through what we're speaking about. So exactly what you said. If we're able to flip that around and not focus on ourselves, be in more gratitude and give more and know that what we have to say is going to change someone's life or even be able to shift their perspective on something, that means so much more than putting the focus on ourselves.
100%. And it definitely makes things so much easier for ourselves too. I wanted to give the example of me, we were talking about it earlier, where I found so it was a specific mentor that told me that, oh, do you want to be an amazing investor, but a terrible speaker because you're not practicing? And that's to me, that's like the most traumatizing thing you can say to me because I'm such a perfectionist type of person. And I definitely would not want to be like, hey, I have all this knowledge to share. I have all this experience to share, but I'm too nervous to speak to you or I'm too scared. Or again, like the fear, the scare, I'm thinking all about me,
Yeah.
and not able to communicate. And when I started, and so that's what got me to start these shows was specifically, like you're saying, in a giving sense, I was thinking,
Yeah.
okay, like we all face challenges, we all are having struggles, and people love to, and I thought it was important that people should share because we're all so different. We experience we have so many different experiences that I thought it'd be why isn't it not so amazing that I can interview people? And the reason I wanted to interview was because like that my fears were so strong about being in front of a video that I
Right.
thought I love asking questions, and I felt that that was the easiest way for me to get into going in front of camera and not feeling the spotlight was on me because we're spotlighting someone else. And in that became anyways your help, and everyone's helping everyone, you're helping the audience. So a lot of helping, it's like help people share their experiences, giving them a spotlight, and that the audience being able to learn from other people's experiences.
It's a ripple effect. You're literally giving. You're giving all this knowledge. You're giving all this content. The people that you have on are giving, and therefore you're creating this ripple effect because the audience gets this abundance of knowledge that they can now learn from, grow from, and then possibly take that and go and share that with somebody that they know. So it's amazing that you got over your fear. Number one, we are so in our own heads about stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
limit ourselves based on the thoughts that we think. So once we get
Mm-hmm.
out of our own way, we can do amazing things. And
Oh
that's what
yeah.
you're doing. You do this
Mm-hmm.
every month with the mindset, and you have the transformational Tuesdays, which is amazing because you got out of your own way and you said, I'm not going to let fear stop me. I have so much more to give my audience than staying small and
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
sharing what I know.
Mm-hmm. 100%. And like that, it does actually make you feel better. Even actually, I remember a lot of at the beginning, no one would say anything. So it was more, and I kind of thought of it, well, at least I'm learning, how to speak because no one would say anything. I'm like, I don't know if I'm giving any value at all because no one would say anything. And so I was always just like, well, at least we're learning with each other how to speak with each other until you start hearing people say things and you're like, oh, it is actually impacting people or they're finding use in it.
I love that because that thought alone could have stopped you from continuing on. But you were
Mm-hmm.
self-inspired to say, you know what, I have value. I'm of value. I'm going to continue doing this. And then as you did it, like you said, people started saying, hey, what a great show. And then you started to get like the support of what you're doing. So then you
Mm-hmm.
continued on and then you kept building the confidence in yourself, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
when we start something, when we first begin something, like it's just us and our idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we keep pushing and we keep going and we keep going and we have to remember to keep going regardless of what we see in the beginning because it will catch up. The praise, the assurance, the value, what other people say, it will eventually come. We just have to continue staying on the path. That idea was given to us, just like the show, that idea was given to you to do
Mm-hmm.
this. And you
Mm-hmm.
ran with it. And here you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
amazing.
exactly. Yeah. And kind of like what it sounded like you're alluding to was just you start with something, and I guess talking back about like my story was talk about the confidence side of things to help you gain that confidence to continue, let's say, to give or to be consistent with the giving was that I just wanted to do things that made me feel confident enough that the fear wasn't so much more than me taking the actions. And so for me, like that, like I thought, like, okay, let me ask questions. I'm good at asking questions. That kind of removes the spotlight off me because it's more about the other person. And so that was one of the biggest things that I felt that I did that helped me to give the confidence. Because if you ever saw me beforehand, I was non-existent in social
Oh,
media, like zero. Like I think the only thing that you'd ever see from me was my vacation pictures because I just loved going on vacation. I would love to share that. But other than that, you didn't know what I was up to because unless if other people tagged me in it, but you wouldn't know anything that I was up to. So even something from zero existence to some existence
mhm.
was a very scary thing for me. And again, you say like that scary is I'm only thinking about myself, right? It's
Yeah,
like the fears, the stress that I had thinking of going into social media was all a very that
right.
selfish like thinking of that it's all about me, which once I got out of that and also like that and my solutions came out in a giving sense, right? I was like, how
Mm,
can I solve these fears in me? And it came out in a giving sense, right? And that's I think that's in general how it is that you happen. You're just taking action, you're going in some way. And for me, it was like, okay, I want to help people learn the things that I've learned. How can I do that? Okay, because I don't really want to talk about myself because I was so
right,
nervous to talk
right.
about the things that I've gone through at that time. So then it was also, okay, so how do I share, help people learn without me having to do all the talking. Or like you'll see in the shows that I do talk about my experiences, but that was like, first of all, many episodes in. And once I had kind of the confidence, like someone else talking, I'd be like, oh, the same thing happened to me, da 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 da. You know, I could do the little blurbs in there, but I didn't want to be just like me talking because that was like the scariest thing in the world.
So I love that, because what I hear is that you found your strength. And I think that is so important when we are taking on something new that can feel scary, and the fear starts to build, right? It's like, take a moment
Hmm.
and see what you're good at. What is your strength in this new venture that you can almost like anchor to keep pushing
Hmm.
you forward. And then the more you did that, the more it became easier and natural for you. So going back to what we're
Hmm.
talking about, which is leaving people with the impression of increase, you put your fear aside, you found your strength, and then you leave people with the impression of increase every time you're doing a video like this and you put it out in social media, because people are learning. They're saying, oh wow, you're getting people coming back to your channel because there's value there. You're giving more value than what you're asking for,
Hmm.
which is amazing.
100%.
I
Yeah.
want to read this quote from the book Secret Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles on page 66. It says, words will not be necessary to communicate a feeling to others. They will feel the sense of increase when in your presence and will be attracted to you again. You must so impress others that they will feel that in associating with you, that they will get increase for themselves, so that
Hmm.
you give them a use value greater than the cash value you are taking from them. So often, this is not even about an exchange of money. It's really about elevating people, helping people,
Hmm.
and uplifting them with a smile, with just a hello, with a hug. It doesn't necessarily even have to be words, where they can walk
Hmm.
away and say, wow, I feel good. I feel good. And now
Hmm.
that I've raised my energy and my vibration, I'm going to be a better person as I move throughout my day.
100%. I mean, and this isn't that what they usually say, isn't it? Like it's 80 or 90% nonverbal cues that we all receive. So you
Yeah.
see the importance of just the actions, or if anything, like the energy that you come in, you can, like you said, like it was saying in there, right? Like you can come into a place or speak to a person and they're like an energy vampire and you feel like you're like, I gotta go. I'm like mentally exhausted because it's just like
Yeah.
people are just like taking from you, whereas like if you get that feeling where that person is just like that, like making you feel better, or making you feel like you've received a lot of knowledge, or you just love to be in their presence. There's so many different things that are coming out of you that show that level of increase, like that. Like sometimes being in someone's presence, you just feel like, wow, I feel so good around these people,
Yeah.
and then it elevates from there with conversation or the things that you give, maybe even depending on what it is that you like to do, even maybe some people just, giving a coffee, giving a tea. Like there's so many
Yeah.
little things that you can do that help them or yourself, like, or even if noticing in yourself like that. Like if someone doesn't want to be around you, it's kind of like, why is that happening? What are you
Right.
doing? And kind of learning about that yourself, right?
Right. And that's the most important thing. It's get to know who you are. And I think we tend to forget that because we're so busy with our daily lives and all of the things we have to accomplish and the things we have to get off our checklist. We do not center back to our being, right? Who
Mm-hmm.
are you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you go internally? Do you sit with yourself and ask yourself some of these questions to identify what could be holding me back? How can I do better tomorrow? What, did I not focus on within me that I could have done a better job, to be better for other people, right? Because it
Mm-hmm.
always starts with us. It always starts with how we see ourselves. And this is why I work with self-image, because the idea of who we think we are plays out in our life. So if we don't believe that we are confident, successful, positive, all those amazing things, we're never going to be it because we're going to keep being tied to an identity of the past. And we can never stay the same. We have to keep growing and changing.
100%. 100%. And like that, I think sometimes actually with leaving people with a level of increase, a feeling of increase, is also, I think it's a good way of seeing yourself going through who are the people around you, and just seeing like as you give to them, do you like giving to them, or are they just taking from you and that's all they do? And you start kind of trying to find those people that are like-minded to you, I mean, I feel like you always continue to give to everyone, but you start noticing that you'll probably start gravitating to other people more than others, just because maybe they appreciate more what you give. Actually, I think that's a very big one. A lot of people don't appreciate like the little things that they do, and then you wonder why they don't do them anymore.
Yeah, it's a give and take, right? It really is a give and take. And when you want to give to others, right? Like it's our inherent nature to be able to give and help people out, but we've got to set boundaries for ourselves so we don't get into a place where you're feeling like you're constantly giving and it's not reciprocated back. And that's when you look internally and say, whoa, what's going on with this relationship that I have or this person? Because I think once you put the focus back into yourself and set those boundaries for yourself, you will naturally attract people that are like-minded, right? And as you know, you become the 5% of the people that you hang out with and you associate with, right? Or sorry, not 5%. You become the average of the
Average,
people that you associate with, because you will naturally, automatically attract people that
you
are which
are.
you are, right?
Yeah, I completely agree. And so, do you have what kind of tips can you give to the viewers to start even, because like that, I think a lot of us don't realize we even give. And so, what kind of tips can you give for helping them realize they're giving, or how they can, or what is giving? Because I feel like some people think, for example, like that, like maybe someone wouldn't even think like giving a cup of coffee is giving, because you're just so used to the nature of like, let's say this cultural whatever that someone comes and it's giving. Like I think there's some habits in us that are so ingrained that
Yeah.
sometimes it's good to bring it back and remember how much you give, and how much, yeah, to realize that you are giving, and that you want to amplify that even more.
Yeah, and I think this is the perfect time. We're in the Christmas season. Not
Mm.
that that's an excuse because we should be doing this all the time, but it enhances our ability to be kinder to others. And I would say start with like little small acts of kindness, just even to yourself, right? Give yourself a time to even 5 minutes. Just sit down and close your eyes and just be still. Make it a point to say something kind to somebody, whether it's thank you or open the door, or you can
A
eventually
smile
get to a
even.
place, a smile even, yeah. And you can get to a place where maybe you want to buy the person behind you their coffee, right? Do what feels good for you and then just continue to build on it. But you have to make that part of your self-image, that you are a person that leaves people with the impression of increase, or you're a person that compliments other people without expecting anything in return. Because when you're confident and secure with yourself, you don't need that back. You know you're amazing. You know you're wonderful. You know you're doing these great things, and it will automatically come back to you.
And I think actually how the world, that your outside world actually is a good example to show you if you are leaving people with a level of increase or not, actually, because if you're, for example, not happy with your life or things, it's why, like, what are you doing in that outside world? And it's like, because then you start realizing, okay, I need to change things to
Yeah,
start, because like I said, it's like if you're giving out, it does come back in the quote that you're
it
saying, right? It
does.
comes back, and it actually comes back more than what you've sent out. So it's
Yes.
just like if you're not seeing that more happening around you, one, I think, is making sure that you're actually realizing that you are receiving too, because I think
Yeah.
both the giving and the receiving is you do actually have to realize that you do it. I started realizing, and you start appreciating more actually yourself when
Yeah.
you realize that you actually give more. Because I noticed in gratitude, that was something big that happened to me that I was like, oh my God, I do nice things for people. Or it was the same thing because I do actually, my gratitude has come to things that have happened to me and that I'm happy for, but also things that I've given to others. 'Cause I noticed that, and that I'm grateful that I can do that. And I did that for that exact purpose because I noticed that I would think that I take too much and I don't give enough. And so I was worried that I don't give enough. And so I've
Oh,
started now that in my gratitude, I do both sides, the things that I receive and the receives that I give to have the ability to give because we can actually block things from coming to us or we block things from giving. When you do feel so amazing when you give.
yeah.
But for some reason, there's things where I'd be like, oh, that person looks so pretty. And I'd like, why didn't I say it? Like, why did it just
Right.
stay in my head? And then sometimes you're like, and then the moment kind of passes.
Yeah.
And you think like, why didn't I share that? I'm sure they would have loved to know how beautiful they are, you know?
But I
And
love that you're self-aware. Like you're able to become self-aware of that. So then maybe the next time you'll be like, oh, you're just gonna say it, right? Because
hmm
it's
hmm
always easy when we walk away from a situation, then the thought comes like, oh, I should have said this. But sometimes it's like when we're in the moment, just say it. But we're so afraid of maybe what other people will think or like, leaving a
Yeah.
weird impression with people. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just do
Like what a
it, right?
weirdo. Why is she saying
Honestly,
that?
yeah. But then again, we're in our heads about it because when have you ever given a compliment to someone and they've been like, "Whoa, where'd that come from?" Unless it's like totally like a weird compliment, right?
Or
What I
if it's
wanted to
men,
say,
actually, I feel like men can't take compliments
yeah,
very well sometimes. But I find it fun, to be honest. I feel like it's fun to compliment men because they get all weirded out and I just kind of laugh about it.
yeah, because they don't know how to receive it, right? And I mean,
Yeah, that's
I've
the
had to work
receiving
on
part.
this. The receiving part, I've had to work on this too myself. For in the beginning, or for a long time of my life, if someone would give me a compliment, I wouldn't know what to do. I'd be like, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I got my shirt at like Zellers or like Walmart or something. I'll always try to like
Mm.
justify it instead of just being like, thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
it. Thank you.
Hmm
I appreciate that. We don't always need to say something back, right? It's like
Yes.
we take away what the other person was trying to give us by trying to now like overcompensate for the compliment.
Exactly. And it's so simple, like something simple like that. Because actually now I was thinking the reason why I wouldn't give them out is because I would feel so embarrassed
Oh my
about
gosh.
it. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that, like I didn't know how to respond. So I would think like, oh, I don't want to put other people in that position of feeling embarrassed. But at the same time, it's like we should be accepting, learning to accept. And it's like because maybe you don't hear enough
Yeah.
that you don't accept it, or you only hear from certain people, and you're not used to like, let's say, the public saying things like that, complimenting you on it. Like with my shows, I remember some people would say things, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, you watch it?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? I want you to watch it?" And I'm like, "I actually want your feedback," but I'd just be like, "Oh, that's so weird."
What? Isn't that so ironic? It's like we want these things for our life, but then when we start to get them, we don't know how to receive them. It's so
Yeah.
foreign to us, right? Because
Yes.
it's either never happened before or we've never been in a position to accept these things. But I think once we learn to be more open to receive, it's like
hmm
the world, like God's way of almost like testing us. Like, if you can receive this tiny compliment, and I know you can receive that, well, let me give you more to be
More.
able to receive, right? Because that's
hmm
just kind of like
hmm
how it works. Then you'll get bigger things on top of that. And then the more you accept and receive, the more you can then give that back to others.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, we don't realize sometimes how much we're blocking from receiving or
Yeah.
blocking from giving.
Yeah.
And you could have so much more if you stopped yourself from blocking or receiving.
Yeah. Because we get caught up in our heads, right? Some people are like, well, if I tell somebody how I feel about them, if I tell them that I love them, they're going to take advantage of me. They're going, so like you're in your head with these things, not realizing that that one thing that you're doing for somebody else can like change both of your relationships, or can change so much in that the way the other person receives or gives back to you. But we're in our heads. Right? So
100%. Yeah.
we limit ourselves by not doing the things that in our heart we want to do, but then in our
Yeah.
mind is like, no, no, you don't want that person thinking this of you. And then we're worried about what other people think. So how do we
Yeah.
live free when we're so consumed by impressions from other people and what they think of us? So I think leaving people with the impression of increase, we release some of that tension. Because we can say, you know what? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to tell everybody today that they're amazing. And then we're going to feel good. They're going to feel good. And we don't have that burden on us that, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't say this. Oh, maybe they'll think I'm weird. Just say it. The only way to prove to yourself is to just go out there and be free with your words and with your energy.
100%. I completely agree. And like that, because once you open up to receiving those or giving it, because like, oh, I was gonna say before that leaving people as a level of increase. What is it? I forget. Leaving
Impression. I
people
know.
an impression of increase is actually like you yourself feel so good doing
You
it. And
do.
like you said, like it's in our nature to give, but we're always worried about what other people will say or do. And
Yeah.
usually, to be honest, I think that the highest levels, like they kind of get embarrassed. But if anything, they're embarrassed because they don't ever receive anything or very
Yeah.
much, right? And they're just not used to it. But inside, they like it, but they're just like bashful about it. It's like, oh my God, no one ever does that.
Yeah. So
And you
it's like
actually, if
they're
anything,
just taken back.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I love that. It's so true. Any final words that you like to share? Oh, actually, before you say your final words, I'm just going to quickly tell everyone that Jacqueline and I are having our networking event in January 10th, I believe, January
January
10th.
10th, second Wednesday
Yeah,
of January.
second Wednesday. And what are we talking about, Jacqueline? I'm really excited. Starting off the
We are
year
talking
right.
about, yeah, we're talking about goals, we're talking about confidence, we're talking about being a success in 2024. So you don't want to miss
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and how to actually complete those goals. So this new year, we are figuring out, Jacqueline is telling us how we're going to complete our goals, and we're not going to do them for a day or two or maximum a week. We're going to finish them off, and we're going to get what we want. So I love it. I'm so excited. But besides
Yes.
that, so we hope to see you there. But Jacqueline, any final words that you'd like to share about the networking event or even just what we've spoken about today?
Well, I'm definitely excited about that, and I want everyone to join us on Wednesday, January the 10th. I think it's a great way to kick off the new year. It's a new identity that you can hold moving into this new year and being able to accomplish your goals. But I think because we're in the Christmas season, I think this is the perfect opportunity for you to go out there and leave people with the impression of increase. Start
Mm-hmm.
today. Start in this moment because you can take control of that. You can say, well, you know what? I'm going to smile at everybody I see today, and I'm not going to get offended if they don't smile back at me because sometimes they just don't know what you're doing and have totally taken them by surprise. But keep doing it. Keep doing
Mm-hmm.
little acts, and you will see that, tenfold back in your life.
100%, Jacqueline. It's always so much fun to chat with you. If you guys love what you heard from Jacqueline, she's going to be tagged on here so you'll be able to follow her and see what she's up to. And if you love what you hear, if you love my shows, then definitely follow me so you can keep track of the shows that I have going on. Jacqueline, thank you so much. It's so fun to chat with you.
Thank you. You're so amazing. I love this. Have an amazing afternoon. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone. Bye, Jacqueline.